Hey y'all, Professor Wyman here, and I'm just going to show you how to calculate a reverse score using the compute option in Jamovi. So first of all, I'm in a data set it's publicly available, and it was collected using the Mach 4, which is the Machiavellianism scale that was developed in the 70s. And Machiavellianism is a personality trait that is typically marked by manipulation and deceit and other negative aspects. So this has 20 questions for Machiavellianism, and this is a good example of some reverse scoring that needs to be done. So first of all, I'm going to actually just highlight all of these because I'm noticing that they're ranked as nominal, which is not a huge issue as far as what we're doing right now, but we can just quickly highlight all of these and make them ordinal so that they are set up correctly in Jamovi. So the idea is that we want a high score to indicate high Machiavellianism. So if you have a scale named patience, you would not want a high score to indicate that they're not patient. You want it to indicate a high amount of that variable that you're measuring. Otherwise, it gets confusing. So this, you can see that if somebody strongly agrees, that should indicate high Machiavellianism. So in this case, you can see that this question, people are asked statements from strongly disagree, which is 1, to strongly agree, which is 5. And this statement is never tell anyone the real reason you did something unless it is useful to do so. So if you respond that you strongly agree, that indicates high Machiavellianism. So that's correctly labeled. If you need more detail on reverse scoring, I do have that other video on the concept behind it. For the next one, I'm going to go to the next question. You can see, again, best way to handle people is tell them what they want to hear, high in Machiavellianism if they strongly agree. So that's set up correctly. Now I'm going to look for, there it is. These have already been marked with a reverse score. And you can see the question, one should take action when only one is sure it is morally right. That is not Machiavellianism. If somebody strongly agrees with that, then that should be a low Machiavellianism score. So we need to reverse score that. So here, I'm going to right click on the variable to the right of that. So we're going to change this Mach 3. You're never going to change the original data, so you always want to create a new column. So I'm going to right click and I'm going to add a variable and I'm going to insert a computed variable. This is the first way that you can do it. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a calculation to create a new variable, and I'm going to call it Mach 3 underscore R. And I'll use that underscore R to indicate that that's the reverse scored version that I should use moving forward. So for this one, the way that you calculate it is you look at what's the maximum that they could possibly have. That's 5. And then because it starts at 1, we're going to add 1 to that. And so when we do this calculation, we're going to say 6 because that is 5 plus 1. And when I subtract Mach 3, so I can type Mach 3, or I can click into this formula editor right here. And I can click after that 6 minus, and I can just double click on this Mach 3. When I click out of it, it's going to reverse score this for me. So here I can see that this was originally strongly disagree. Strongly disagree would have been a 1, but it's been correctly reformatted, reverse scored to a 5 here. And so that formula is what you can use to compute a reverse scored variable. So if it starts at 0, you would not add 1 to the total. So if it had been 0 through 4, I would have just used 4 as my, or 0 through 5, I would have just used 5 as my maximum. But because it started with 1, I added 1 to it. So that's one option. So in the next video, I'm going to show you how to use the transform option. I prefer transform and using if statements, but I know a lot of people don't necessarily like that as much. So whichever way you use, just make sure that you check it and that you set it up correctly.